Hello, everyone, and welcome to our next edition of the Typhone Partner Spotlight webinar series. Today, we are super excited to have Chris O'Brien and our friends from Allied Payment Network here to talk to us a little bit about how they are working to enable members to move money their way. So we're going to give it about 2 minutes here for everyone to be able to join, get their audio settled, get squared away, and then we'll be right back to kick things off. All right, we're going to go ahead and kick things off. Again, welcome to this next installment in Typhone's Partner Spotlight webinar series. Again, today I am super excited to have someone I consider a good friend, Chris O'Brien from Allied Payment Network, here to talk to us today. Chris is one of those guys I think I can probably pretty easily waste a half of an afternoon talking to. So I'm really excited to have him here in this powerhouse 30 minutes to talk to us a little bit about how Allied is allowing credit unions members to really move money their way. So Chris, welcome. Thanks. The spotlight's all yours.
Well, thank you, Josh. I appreciate the opportunity and enjoy wasting time on the phone with you as well. Hopefully it's not a complete waste, but it's always good catching up. And thank you, Typhone, for the opportunity today. Take a quick look at what we're doing with digital payments, and especially in the climate we're in today, how that can really enable credit unions to give them these remote digital options that they can do over online and mobile without having to come into a branch. And as Josh mentioned, I am Chris O'Brien, Vice President of Business Development for Allied Payment Network. Give you a brief background on us and the company, myself and the company. We've been in business since 2010. We are a mature company with mature products, but we are new to the market for a lot of FIs. We've grown over the last 3 years from 150, 175 FIs to now over 325. And a big reason for that jump is the way we're processing payments. It's different than a lot of legacy providers. It's different than a lot of ways that a majority of people are doing it today. And so that's how we've been able to grow. We are still an independent and privately held digital payment provider, and this is our sole focus. So we only do payments for credit unions and community banks. We are based in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I'm sure as a lot of y'all are experiencing, we are working remote, and that's been a learning experience for some, but a great one. We've now learned that we can operate outside of the headquarters and still operate at 100% efficiency. So hopefully, at the end of this, we're going to come out with a better working knowledge of how to get things done, even if we're not all in the same place. And I've been with Allied for the last 3+ years. I worked with them 5 years prior to that at mobile banking companies, integrating their solutions. So I've known their team for 8 of the 10 years and watched it go from a pioneer of photo bill pay with PicturePay to a full internet and mobile bill pay provider, and now to a complete digital payment platform. And that's really what we're here to talk about today. Payments have gone well beyond just paying a phone bill. Members are looking for ways to move money in all different methods, paying a friend through P2P, transferring money between the credit union and another institution, paying a loan, or simply paying a bill, but giving them that option of taking a photo or logging in through eBills and letting us pull the information. And so that's really where we've evolved over the last 3 years, taking more of a holistic approach to payments. This is everything with money movement, but all in one location at the credit union's digital channels. And that's another big thing that we see coming out of the pandemic we're in today. People are looking for alternatives to traditional forms of payment. So they're going to see all these new options, become a more engaged member. And so we really see these as beneficial today, but also moving forward. And the biggest difference with us is for the last 3 years, we have had a real-time connection to cores for debit posting. So most providers, maybe legacy bill pay platforms, even multi-billion-dollar companies, they're still doing batch processing, risk-based. Whenever a member schedules a payment, or if they send a person-to-person payment, when they hit submit, we can post that debit directly to the core in real time. And we've been doing that since 2017. This year, we are now launching real-time credit to thousands of billers through our eBill solution. So we're going to have end-to-end real-time bill payments this quarter. We've had end-to-end real-time person-to-person payments for 2 years. And so that's what we're looking at no matter what the product, what's the alternative, how can we do it just as well, if not better, across all these different payment methods, but get it all into one place at the credit union's online and mobile channels. And for bill pay as a whole, people are paying more bills than ever. That hasn't gone anywhere. On average, 15 to 20 per month, half are still being paid online, and a majority of consumers say it's the most important banking feature that they're looking for is bill pay and payments as a whole. But over the last decade, that's gone down from 40% to now closer to 1 in 4 payments are made through the financial institution's bill pay or P2P. And the reason for that is there are plenty of alternatives, mainly for bill pay, going direct to the biller's website. They can see a PDF of the bill. They can set up a payment and get immediate credit. They can see the status of a payment. So it's a lot more transparent. That is where we saw eBills filling that gap, giving them the same ease of setting up, the same workflows, the logos they know and trust, show them billers in their area so they see the top 16 based on location, letting them set up messaging with text and email alerts, full PDFs, and now immediate credit for that payment so they can make a payment on their due date. The same thing they could do going to their phone company's website, but now they're doing that for 15 to 20 different billers, all at the credit unions online and mobile. Same thing for person to person, PayPal, Venmo, Zelle. There's a dozen different ways you can send money. End of the day, they're brands or platforms of a person to person payment. So with our P2P, they can send money to anyone and they can pick it up instantly on a debit card. And we post that debit to the core when they hit submit. So the same end-to-end real-time P2P without having to be on a network or download a third-party app. It is truly the credit union's brandable P2P solution. And so what all that does and what we're hoping to see come out of this when we get back to a form of normalcy is a much more engaged and loyal member. It's a more convenient solution. They're coming to the website for everything they need or through the mobile app. 15 different billers, all at the credit union's BillPay. Being able to send money to a friend, all part of that same payment center. Also, something that we can educate along the way, it's a lot more secure. They're setting up 15 bill pays through the credit union's service. We're processing the payment on their behalf. If they're setting up 15 biller direct payments, they just gave 15 different companies their financial information. And that's 15 opportunities for a data breach. So letting them know this isn't just about convenience, this is about security for how you move money, but we have you covered. No matter how you're trying to do it, come to the credit union's digital channels, and we've got a solution to achieve it. And also, that is extremely valuable and monetizable data, knowing what your members are spending and how they're making payments, what credit cards they're paying off, the loans. So very valuable data that you can then evaluate and get a return on the investment of all these solutions. And now spend the next 10 or 15 minutes looking at a live demo of our solutions. And all of this is going to be in the same location except for our loan payment piece. We want everything under one roof, but for Portal Pay, we want them to have the ability to just make a payment. That can be a link on the website, that can be a link on the mobile app, and that just requires their info, loan info, how do you want to pay? So it can be behind a single sign-on. Otherwise, everything else is in one location. We are looking at multiple integrations with Typhone, and it really depends on what the credit union wants. We do SSOs, we are API driven as well. It's really going to depend on what makes the most sense for the credit union and your members. But it is all behind the digital channel. This is the introductory page after conversion. Now introducing eBills. Simply search for your biller, log in, we'll pull the information, and now we're making this a more of a proactive experience instead of reactive. We're telling them what their bill is, when it's due, here are the payment options, here's a full PDF. So this is something where they don't have to go anywhere else. We'll even identify payees that are eligible for eBills. So I've previously paid AT&T. Now I put in my username and password, and it is linked, and we will pull all that information every month, store the history, and they're going to have that for 15 to 20 different billers all in one place. And so everything is in one location, regardless of what it is. Standard bill pays, eBills will show any new notifications. They can see the status, the amount, the due date, everything at the credit union's online and mobile. And that's the idea. We want them coming back weekly and not having to go to all these different websites because they know it's all going to be at the credit union. I see the status. For credit cards, we pull all balances, and those are one click to where they don't even have to type the amount. We're going to let them just select what they want to pay. We can show them a full PDF of their latest bill. And this is not a summary. This is a full bill from my gas company. And that goes the same for any other e-bills that they've linked. We also have a product called Vault that is for digital document storage. So with eBills, we're going to show the latest bill. Vault will store anything since they've been linked. That includes picture payments, all Vault or all eBill PDFs, as well as any other image that they want. So this can be something for taxes, warranties, receipts. It's really up to the member. They can upload through mobile, they can snap a photo. They can tag, create their own tags, and then search by keyword. So this is a byproduct of PicturePay, our mobile photo bill pay. No two bills are alike. So we read everything on that image. And so we can apply that to any document, and then they can search by keyword, where I found 92 documents in 3 seconds with the keyword Patrick. So another very sticky product, but the same idea. Here's our main menu, very intuitive. I want to pay a bill, pay with a picture, pay a person, anything that they want to do all in one location. Our person-to-person, there's no networks. They don't have to download a third-party app. This is truly sending money to anyone on the US banking system with the option to pick it up in real time on a debit card. Multiple layers of security. You set limits. We've already checked against the available balance. If we go to post the debit and the funds are no longer there, then the payment will not be processed. We just need the email or the phone number of the recipient to notify them that they have funds available. For the recipient, since they're not signing up for a service or registering for an app, whatever it may be, we're going to have a security word that they must have to pick up the funds. So if this is sent to the wrong person, they won't be able to pick it up without this code. And last, we're going to do out-of-band authentication to verify it is your member outside of online and mobile. So they'll get a 4-digit code by email, text, or by phone. And after they put in that code, the debit is going to post to the core in real time. So it is a good funds payment, and it's available for pickup immediately. If they put in a debit card, it's there within 30 seconds. So this is an end-to-end real-time person-to-person payment, not sending money to their balance at PayPal, which then they have to withdraw. They can be sitting across a dinner table and complete a payment in 60 seconds. And that payment is valid for 10 days. They can check the status. They can see that it's still waiting on the recipient to pick it up, how many days are left, and they have the option to manually cancel. And from the recipient standpoint, if they choose email, they're going to get a branded email from your credit union saying that you offer person-to-person payments. So this is also a marketing opportunity for them to see you have this service. They click on the link, go to a secure website, put in that security word that we created, debit card info, and the funds are in their account in a total of 60 seconds. So especially now, that's what consumers are looking for: remote, contactless ways to send money, friends, family, between accounts, pay bills. They need these options when we're all staying at home to still make these payments and keep up with their finances. Same with the account to account. Most people, when they go to A, are looking to transfer money today. They're not looking to wait 3 days for micro deposits to land, then initiate a transfer. 5 days later, the funds have arrived. We have an integration with Plaid to where they can search for their FI. So if I find my local credit union, log in with online or mobile credentials, instantly verify ownership at this credit union and what accounts are eligible for transfer. Go to initiate a transfer. We post the debit in real time to the core, and the funds arrive tomorrow. So 1 day A from start to finish as well. And that's another real-time component. People aren't looking to wait. There's a lot of different ways to send money. They could even send a P2P to themselves. But this is a much more efficient way to do that. And it's about giving them a streamlined option to create these payments all in one place. We also want to make it as self-service as possible, so they're not calling in for simple things that they could find themselves. We do not limit payment history, vault images, We want this to be very self-service to where they can find it themselves through online and mobile. So they can go back and look at anything we've ever processed. For eBills, since the time that that biller's been linked, they can find data. I can go back to my first picture payment when I started 3 years ago and see the exact image that I took. For those less than 20% physical check payments, I can see tracking from USPS, when it left our processing facility, where it is in transit, and when it got to its location. So giving them all of these options to where they're not having to call into the credit union also frees up your resources and gives them more of a full service experience. Going back, setting it up. A lot of people that are just now using BillPay, they didn't traditionally use it because they didn't want to type all that info out. Maybe they're a mobile only member. We make it simple. Snap a photo, we'll pull the info off to make the payment and set them up as a payee for future payments. For eBills, we show billers based on their location, the most popular 16 with logos that they know and trust. So they can click on Chase, put in their username and password, and now every month we're pulling all of that data into the BillPay experience. Or search through tens of thousands of billers. And this is all the way from national to your local utility. So my city of 50,000, I can log in and I now have linked my account to where every month my city utility is sending me a full PDF of my bill. They're showing me that the payment's been received and I'm not having to go to 15 different websites. Everything is in one location, no matter what the payment method is. And we will keep letting them know they're eligible. So they can use standard bill pay, or we're gonna let them know Sprint is eligible for eBill. Click here to sign in and we'll link your account. And everything that we offer is mobile friendly. So our first product was Picture Pay, and that was one of the first mobile photo bill pay solutions in the nation. So now we offer all of our services, no matter what device the member is using. And with mobile becoming the more predominant way people are accessing digital channels, we knew that was important. So we've been doing that since day one. And the last things that I'd like to cover before we go to Q&A, the full eBill experience. So it's great to be able to show them the PDF, the amount, the due date. We also want to give them all the other functionality that they have going to AT&T or Citi. So they can see their latest bill, but we want to show them bill history that we're pulling from Atmos. No matter where that payment was made, we're getting this from the biller. They can set up notifications, and this is the other big piece that they offer. Email and text alerts based on anything payment related. If it's a credit card, they can set their own threshold so they get notified immediately whenever it crosses that amount. So giving them that customized experience based on biller, the same thing they'd have going direct to the website, but now all of those, no matter if it's bill pay, P2P, A to A, all in one place at the credit union's digital channel. Josh, I know we have a couple minutes to spare, but did want to leave some time for Q&A. So if you've gotten any over chat, feel free to fire away.
Absolutely. Thanks, Chris. So we do have a couple of questions that have come through. Just as a reminder, so GoToWebinar does not allow participants to unmute and raise questions that way. So we do ask that you use the chat bubble, the little question mark, to submit questions through the question and answer. Then I'll read them out loud. That way Chris can answer them. So the first one, and this was actually a question I had as well. So one of the big topics of conversation is P2P these days. And I think what you guys are doing there is pretty exciting. So can you maybe talk a little bit more just about how Allied's P2P compares to the Zells and Venmos of the world, and what are you seeing the adoption of that be?
Yeah, great question. So the Zells, the Venmos, the PayPals, those are platforms or brands of P2P. They have their own networks, and that requires sender and receiver to be on the same platform. And everyone's done that dance where you're trying to pay somebody back for dinner, and well, do you want to use PayPal? Now I prefer Venmo. Well, is your FI part of Zelle? What's Zelle? I don't even know what Zelle is. So with ours, it really takes away the friction or the hurdles of using P2P. They can send money to anybody. They don't have to ask, what FI are you at? They send them an email or text, and the recipient picks it up however they like. From a marketing standpoint, we have multiple FIs have branded this. They've created their own brand of P2P because we're behind the scenes providing the service, but it's the credit union's P2P offering. So we are seeing an uptick in adoption for those that don't want to pay a hefty upfront or wait 6 months to implement on some of the other platforms. This has been a great alternative that offers extremely comparable, if not easier, ways and speed of payment.
Thanks, Chris. I think one thing that would be worth elaborating on too is I definitely see the power behind the recipient side, right? So, Chris and I go out to dinner and he pays and, I go to send him money and he goes to accept that and it comes from, my credit union. And I get to send you that branded P2P experience. So, maybe if you could touch on just a little bit more, what does it look like for the recipient to get that money and what kind of opportunities does the credit union have to really control what that looks like from a marketing and branding perspective?
Yeah, so the email and the secure website are both branded for the credit union. So same thing, they never see Allied. This is their P2P offering. So they're gonna have that notification. I sent you money from my credit union. It's fast, secure, free, requires no setup or registration. You need your debit card or account and routing to pick it up. So there are opportunities to market that they have that feature. We are looking at additional marketing opportunities since you are sending a message to that person. But yeah, 100%, they're seeing that the credit union offers this and they're seeing their brand. They can go to their website and check out their other things, but we're looking at how we can capitalize on that more. And for the recipient, that debit is posted to the core immediately. So for the credit union, those funds are secured at the time it's sent. The member didn't have to put in their debit card. They didn't have to do anything. This is just them sending a payment, just as they do through any other of these options.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris. So one of the questions we had come through was talking a little bit about the real-time end-to-end payments with eBills. So is that something that you guys are able to do without eBills in place? It sounds like we're just looking for a little bit more elaboration on that.
Yeah, so real-time debit posting to the core allows us to send a payment out as fast and cost effectively as we can. So digital is a fraction of what a paper check is. Same day offers a better experience over standard electronic. So we're always looking for the fastest way to get that payment there. Without the real-time posting to the core, we couldn't send a real-time credit or a real-time P2P. Those would then be risk based because we're not getting the funds until tomorrow. So without the real-time debit, the real-time credit wouldn't be possible. And that's where, us doing this 3 years ago, we've laid the groundwork for where we're at today and where we're going to go in the next coming years. But absolutely, without that, none of this would be possible, or it'd be still risk or batch like many other providers.
It makes a lot of sense. Thanks for that clarification, Chris. All right, that brings us to the time we have allotted for today. Again, I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to put this webinar on today, Chris. I personally think what you guys are doing is really cool. This is a really clean, slick, simple approach to offering a ton of different ways for members to move money, to manage their bills. This is more than just bill pay. So I think this is some pretty cool stuff. Again, this webinar will be hosted on the Typhone website. If you're a current Typhone customer and you have any questions about what it would look like to implement Allied for your credit union, please feel free to reach out to myself or any of our account management team. If you are not a current Typhone customer, Chris's information is in the webinar on the website. Please feel free to reach out to him directly there as well. Thank you all so much. Chris, thanks again. Pleasure having you around.
Absolutely, Josh. Appreciate it.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.